Hey, Pat McCardle back for another episode of Shop Talk, where today we're diving into the all-new Ranger 500. Stay tuned for more. All right, so let's jump into this all-new Ranger 500, starting off on the front end of this rig. So you guys can see this thing's got a whole new look and style about it that's all new from other Rangers that we've had in the lineup in the past. Brand new from model year 26. When you start down at the bottom, you'll see we've got this awesome bumper on this rig made out of some heavy gauge steel. So when you're driving around and you accidentally bump into something, you don't have to worry about getting into the plastic right away. This nice steel bumper will help protect this front end. As we look, we've got a built-in winch on this rig, rated at 2,500 pounds. You can see it's got a nice roller fair lead, so even if you're not pulling at a straight line, say you're at an angle this way or this way, these wheels can roll a bit to help that winch cable slide in and out. So it makes it really easy if you're pulling, say a roots on a small tree, maybe a small stump, moving some logs around, that type of thing. You've got a lot of pulling power and capacity here on this machine to be able to help you out. Coming down into the wheel end, you can see that we've got an awesome aluminum set of rims on this rig, wrapped around with 25-inch all-terrain tires. The suspension on the front is super easy to operate. It's got a nice coil-over on a strut, single lower control arm, but this is going to soak up all the bumps for you. So you don't have to worry about, do I have the suspension in the right setting? Do I have to adjust something? For the type of riding you're going to be doing on this Ranger 500, it does a really nice job of absorbing those small compliance bumps, as well as being pretty easy to operate on the steering wheel, even with the manual steering configuration that's in this one. As we move up, we've got all new LED headlights here. So these are going to be bright at night, long lasting. You're not going to have to worry about them burning out like you do a bulb. And the cool thing here is the instant you start the engine, when you release the key, these lights turn on automatically for you. So you don't have to worry about fumbling for a light switch at night. We also have LED taillights on the back, and we'll show you those in just a minute. But the other nice thing is this hood is simple latching on either side. You get a nice big storage tray right underneath. And the nice part is, even though you'll get some mud packed up in the hood itself, this area actually tends to stay pretty clean as you go throughout the day. So factory toolkit is sitting here. That's where you'll find it generally when we ship the unit. There's a living hinge on this access panel. So you can see we've got access to the battery. The fuse box is down here, start solenoid, kind of some of your electronics up in this area. Coolant reservoir, easy to get to. You can easily see what that level's at to make sure you're between the high and low marks. Other nice thing, you've got a radiator access here, so if you ever get this full of mud and you need to clean it off, you can get your garden hose and easily wash that off. So it makes it really nice for getting to access to this area. And it's a simple operation, one flip right after you pop the latches on either side of the vehicle. All right, so coming around to the back of this Ranger 500, we've got a nice cargo capacity in the back with 500 pounds. So if you think about loading this up with bags of mulch, you can basically fill this box all the way up to the rails and still be under that cargo capacity. When you look at latching, we've got one handle on either side, super simple to operate, allows you to drop that tailgate and pull things in and out. Now the other cool thing about this box is that it's got a tilt function. So there's a handle right here on the side that if you pull it up, a gas assist strut will actually help you open that box. So even if it's loaded, you can dump everything out in the back. Makes it super simple to operate. As we look in the center, you can see we've got our classic single cylinder engine that we use in a lot of ATVs and side-by-sides. We've got a variant just for this Ranger 500, really tuned to the power and performance of this vehicle. Over here on the side is where our Polaris variable transmission goes. That's going to be the CVT drive that basically allows the automatic operation. So shift it into gear, push on the gas, and away you go. So if we get this thing kind of put back together a little bit, the other thing we should point out while we're in the back here is we do have a 2-inch receiver on the back of this. If you got your mulch full in the back, you got maybe a little yard trailer, you can make fewer trips, so you don't have to worry about stacking 2 or 3 in a wheelbarrow, humping those out, coming back and making 50 trips throughout the day. You're maybe going to cut that down and do it with a lot easier with a machine like this. The other nice thing you see, independent rear suspension in the back here, so lower and upper arms along with a coil-over shock. Those are going to soak up the bumps for you and be able to operate independent to one another, so you don't have to worry about one side hitting something and kind of knocking you kittywampus. That independent rear suspension is going to help soak that up. The other thing you can see in the back here is we've got this new tuned exhaust. So this is really mated to the power level and performance of this vehicle. So it sounds really nice as you're driving down the trail or around your properties. All right, so we covered off on the front third of this machine. We talked about the back third. Now it's time to talk about what goes on in the middle in the cockpit of this rig. So the first thing you see up top is the factory roof. So this is built in, not an accessory. This actually comes with the Ranger 500. Simple to operate nets. You got one clip, one-handed operation, get that out of your way. As you jump in, you notice how comfortable the seats are. A little easier for me to sit here and say than you to feel it, but when you go check one out at a dealer, you'll be able to experience that. We've got tilt steering, so you can easily adjust this to get it wherever you need it to be, you know, simple to operate. And we've got a beautiful gauge right behind the steering wheel. So some cool things I like to highlight here, it ships from the factory with blue backlighting. You can actually change it to red if you want. And this machine also allows you to change the top speed of the vehicle. So if you want to limit it to anywhere from 15 to 35 by 5-mile-an-hour increments, you can type that in and it will lock it. So if you got somebody else in the family or a newer rider or maybe even yourself that you just don't need to go that fast, you can dial that down, and even if you go full throttle, it'll limit you to that top speed to kind of keep you in that zone. All right, so the next thing we've got is the key here. So after you start the engine and release it, the headlights will automatically be on. If you want to drive with the headlights off, you can click it back one position, and you'll notice the gauge and everything is still lit up. If you go all the way back, that's how you turn it off. So you've got off, on with no lights, on with lights, and then start as the 4 positions in this key. Shift handle's up next. If I pull it all the way down, I'm in park. If I go all the way up, I'm in high. So think push forward to go forward, pull back to go back. High gear is really good when you're going, you know, kind of consistently above 15 miles an hour. So if you're trail riding, if you're running out somewhere, you're not really towing anything. Low gear is 1 down from high. Think of this as the work gear. So if you got a load in the back, or you're towing a trailer, or you're consistently going like 0 to 15 miles an hour, low gear is your best friend. I like to think of when I get a brand new machine, I generally operate it low for the first 20 to 50 miles, and then, you know, I start opening it up as I get going. Neutral is 1 back from that. We got reverse from there, and then park is all the way down. So kind of simple inline operation, but remember, think forward to go forward, back to go back, all the way down to get into park. Now we've got 1 toggle switch on the dashboard here, and if you flip this thing up, it's going to actually lock the rear axle in the back end. And if you push it down, it's going to give you turf mode, so it's going to unlock the rear wheels. Nice part about that is if you're on turf, say in your grass, it's actually going to tend to chew up the grass less as you're going around corners. Now the nice part on this is we've actually got a new front drive technology that we've called the auto lock front drive on this rig. And what that actually is going to do is mechanically it's kind of always ready to go, so if your rear wheels start to slip, the front end automatically engages. So if this switch is in the up position, you're basically going to have all 4 wheels pulling and doing work. If this switch is down, you're going to have 1 of the 2 rears plus the front end ready to go and be doing work for you. So it makes it really easy to get through off-road terrains, you know, if you're going up and over bumps and, you know, maybe up and over some roots, that kind of thing. It's a very confidence-inspiring unit because the fronts and rears are spinning at almost the same speed, and that front end you don't even have to think about. It's just ready to go to pull you forward. Other 2 things that we've got here, a couple accessory spots if you want to cut in some more switches for something like a light bar or other things that are electric. We've got a 12-volt outlet, so if you need a tire pump or a spotlight or something like that, you can plug that in right here. And we've also got a spot to hook up this wireless or this wired winch remote. So you can see you've got in and out on this, pretty simple to plug that in, and you've got enough cord on here that you can certainly operate it from the driver's seat, but if you need to get out and be able to operate this, you got about, I don't know, 6 feet or so of cable to be able to do that with your machine. So if you got somebody else that's operating it while you're in the operator's seat, they got enough cable there to be able to get out. Now the other thing that you guys can maybe see is there's a huge amount of storage capability in this dash. So I got cup holders here, I've got cubbies galore, I've got more down in the kick panels here on both sides, and I've even got cup holders between the seats. So I can have 2, my passenger can have 2, so plenty of spots to store things as you go. But overall, really nice interior layout, really comfortable, makes this machine easy to own and operate. All right, so we just took you through what's come stock on the all-new Ranger 500 from model year 26. Now we rolled another one into the shop that's got a few accessories on to show you guys what you could build this up to look like. So as we start in the front, we've got a front panel on the front of the windscreen here. We've also got one in the back. Cool thing, we got a light bar, so if you need to light up the night sky, you can flip that switch and light that up. We've got a rear view mirror in the center. We've got some side mirrors from Coleman here on the side. And as we come back to the back of this, one of the coolest accessories I think that'll fit any unit with a 2-inch receiver, this trash can hauler. So you can haul up to 2 cans on the back here. And if you got a really long driveway and you don't want to have to heft these up into a truck or, you know, a trailer, you can basically clip it on and slowly drive this right out to the curb where it gets picked up. Bring it back, you know, maybe you use this for doing yard waste, for picking up sticks. You can cruise around your property, throw those right in so you don't have to lug that canister around. Overall, makes for a great one, and that fits not just this, but anything with a 2-inch receiver. Now, the cool thing about these accessories is that you can find them at any Polaris dealer. So as you think about this, we've got over 1,000 dealers across the nation and many dealers around the world. So you're not like going into a big box store, buying a machine, bringing it home, and then you never know where to go back for service. You can call up those dealers, you can get a hold of Polaris. We're gonna have some DIY type videos coming out from our service team to show you how to do some of the routine maintenance. But that dealer network is always there to answer your questions and help you out and be able to get these units serviced and keep you riding on the trails or doing work around your property. Hey, that's it for this episode of Shop Talk. Make sure you like, comment, and let us know what you want to see next time.